Okay, here's an example of the wave. The wave is the flash of inspiration that comes to me very randomly. You've got to notice though when it starts and then when it ends, because there comes a point where the wave is now over, like this, and you then have to release, and you're not forcing it. So inspiration, I'm waiting, I'm feeling. Okay, here it goes. It's over. If I keep going now, I'll screw up. I'm on the wave. Pause. I haven't got anything here now, there's no inspiration, I'm just going to wait. That's the wave. If I try and carry on now, I feel, it's pulling me. I have no idea what just happened there. It's controlling me, I'm not controlling it. I'm going to deliberately keep going when the wave stops now, and it's going to sound bad. There, I kept going after the wave. So I wait, I breathe. Okay, I'm feeling something coming now. That's the wave.
Yeah.
So I had a very interesting guitar lesson last night with Josh, who you may have seen on the previous videos, the speed picking video. He's very good. He's professionally trained and qualified now. And we were sharing a few ideas back and forth about our ideas on what makes a great solo and what doesn't. Now, one of the things that came up is that you've got to allow space. You've got to let the track breathe. It's really important. So it's like walking into a conversation where there's a group of people having a conversation and they're all talking about butterflies, and I just barge into the group and go, I like trains. People are going to think, what the hell are you on about? Who are you and what are you doing in our conversation? Versus allowing space, letting the conversation breathe, staying on the outside of the conversation, just sitting there quietly and listening. Just listening to the conversation. And then when I've really got the measure of the conversation, I can now interject with something that makes sense. Oh, do you mean the red admirals with the red and black pattern on their back? Whatever it is. And they'll be like, yes, that's exactly it. Red admirals, you bang on the money, Luke. Who is this amazing person? Who is this wonderful person who is just beautifully added to the conversation, as opposed to, what are you doing? Talking about trains, we're talking about butterflies. So you listen to the conversation, so you know what the conversation is about before you interject. And that's the same with music. When you're improvising, when you're soloing, do not play a single note till you've really felt the music, till you've really heard the conversation and you really know what's going on. And now when you feel it, only then, once you've got the gist of the tune, now it's okay to start playing. And then in between phrases, again, listen to the conversation before you say the next thing. So in those spaces, really, really listen and feel before you play the next note, before you say the next thing. You know, because in a conversation, if you just go blah, 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 people are going to be thinking, yeah, okay, shut up now. I'm bored. And so it's really important to pause in between phrases, because that makes what I'm saying more interesting and more impactful. And so this is why we've got to do the call and response. And the call has to sound different to the response. The response has got to be slightly different. Otherwise, it sounds like everything I'm saying is a question. Is it this? Did you do that? Why did you do this? What was this about? What was that? Okay? If you're always doing the same type of thing over and over again, it doesn't work. So the question has to be different to the answer. So the question could be like da 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 da, and the answer is like da 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 da. Okay? So it's something different from that. But if everything sounds the same, or it could be da 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 da, down. Okay, you notice how the question was very do 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 do. The answer was like do do, something different to shake things up. Because otherwise, everything I'm saying is this never-ending question. You've got to have the pause, and you've got to have the answer, and then feel, not force. One of my other students today, definite musical prodigy, he said something like, "Stop thinking, stop forcing it, and feel it." And then he started tearing away and playing all kinds of insane stuff that just, he was pulling him out of thin air. It was amazing to watch. Okay, and so that was Tom. Tom is very, very good. And then we came up with this idea called the wave. Now, when I'm surfing with my friends, quite often I would catch a really good wave. And I'd be like, guys, did anyone see it? I'm like hoping somebody saw it. I was like, who saw that? Who saw that, right? It was good, right? And I was like, oh, don't worry, I'll do it again. But when I caught that wave, I wasn't trying. I wasn't forcing it. I was just feeling it. I was in the moment, and I didn't know who was watching, who wasn't. And now the whole group's watching me. And then I'd try and catch it again and replicate. I would try, and I would force it. I would then nosedive, and it would go horrendously wrong. But then when I said to myself, do you know what? Who cares? It doesn't matter if I never catch a wave like that again. Guess what? Catch another good wave. And then again, I'm like, actually, yeah, if that was the last one I caught, fine. And another one. And then I catch it and I go, great. If that's it, if I don't ever catch a wave like that again, life still goes on. I'm just going to enjoy the now. And I catch another one because I was feeling, not forcing. So we came up with this idea, myself and Josh, last night, that musical phrases, it's like a wave. The wave comes, the wave of inspiration strikes, and you've got to catch it at the right moment. You'll notice when the song now pulls you in a certain direction. It will prompt you to do certain things, like da 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 da, and they might be quite cool things. And the issue is if you don't then get off the wave as it dwindles, as it finishes, that's when the problem happens. Because imagine you're on your surfboard or your bodyboard, right? And you're going along, and now the waves stop pulling you, and now you're like forcing it, like, no, I've got to carry on going. I've got to keep going. I love what just happened, and I don't want it to end. No, the wave ends. It's like a phrase in a conversation, right? In a phrase, I talk for about this much time, and then I stop. So each question or answer is going to be a wave, and it's going to come in its own time. It will just come to you and it will pull you in a certain direction. You have to let it happen, but then be aware when the wave ends. The issue is that your ego kicks in and you're like, no, I don't want to stop. I want to keep going. And you try and continue doing what naturally just happened, and you force it and you get all tense and rigid, and it goes completely wrong because you go from just feeling the music to like really pushing it and trying to create it and trying to control it, which you can't do. The music plays you. You don't play it, it plays you. So notice when the wave comes. Notice when the music lifts you up and carries you. And also notice when the wave stops as well. And when it stops, just let the phrase end naturally. And then don't try and recreate what you just did. Do not. Accept that moment in time is gone. Okay? I mean, you can watch back later if you filmed it and try and figure out roughly what it was, so you can like experiment with similar things in future. But in that moment, that phrase is gone now. Wait for the next wave. Okay? So the wave of inspiration comes, you get on the wave. The wave will carry you a certain point, a certain distance, and it will prompt you to go in certain directions and do things, and the song will play you. Your hands will do this, all these magical things. You just have to let it happen. And notice when it stops, And notice your ego will try and kick in and try and get you to carry on, which is where it goes wrong. Like when someone makes a really funny joke and they go, oh, blah-de-blah, everybody laughs. And they add on a little bit more, the wave, they're riding the wave. And they go, and then blah, blah, blah. And then the ego kicks in and they're like, let's push this even further. As the wave's already out, they know the wave is over and the joke is dying now. And then they throw in that extra bit to the joke and it's like, too far. Because that is where the wave had stopped now, and it was time to gradually, gently step off the wave. But they carried on, and they tried to create their own wave by paddling through the water and forcing it. It doesn't work that way. Mother Nature creates waves. You get on the wave, notice when the wave starts losing momentum as it starts slowing down, and gently step off and wait for the next wave. The next wave of inspiration to pull you. And when the next wave comes, it's going to be a different phrase. It won't be the same thing you said 5 minutes ago. It won't be that same joke you just made. It'll now be something else that comes up that prompts you to say some other funny thing. Okay? And if you're entertaining people, like when I do stand-up comedy, for example, or if I'm just being funny in a group of my friends. Now, in music, okay, the wave comes, the wave ends, and I've got to notice when that phrase is over, when that wave has stopped pulling me now. And that's when the gap has to happen, the pause. I'll go back to listening and feeling, and the next wave comes, and now I go back. And that next wave may be very different from the previous wave, but it will pull you in a certain direction. So don't try and continue after the wave finishes. Wait for the next wave. And don't try and recreate what you just did. Don't try and create your own wave to replicate what you just did. Don't be like, oh, that was so cool what I just did. I'm going to do it again now. What was it I did? Was I somewhere over here, somewhere there? And you're then playing notes that are completely wrong with the backing track. Like you're now trying to play something in A as the song has now migrated to the chord of E. And you're playing all the wrong notes because you're just forcing and thinking and stuff. And you're not actually feeling where the music is. So that moment is now gone. Accept that it's gone. Yes, you did something really cool and you don't even really know what it was you did. Or maybe you do know what it was you did and you try and do it again and it nosedives. No, don't do that. Just let the music now pull you in another direction as the next wave comes. And so when one wave ends, let the silence be there. And wait for the next wave. And as it comes, it will now pull you in another direction. A completely different direction. And let each wave carry you in its own unique way. But you must know when to get on the wave and when to get off the wave. You can't create the wave. You can't make waves. You're not strong enough. Mother Nature makes the waves. You don't fight against the forces of nature. You go with the wave. And when your wave is over, step off. Do not try and continue. But you've got to feel, not force.